Hi Jonathan, I just spent 20 minutes, and that was for the final cut, a lot longer, trying to give you a really detailed tutorial video using this Windows machine that I don't use very often and some headphones, and it turned out that the audio using Loom was completely out of sync. I watched it back, it's a nightmare. I thought I was going home. Looks like I'm not. I'm literally now holding my mobile phone to do this. I'm not doing the detail that I did before. I think we could probably share a screen and do it together, but I just wanted to give you something. I'm about to send this code over and a link to this video. So what we have is a Visual Studio project. This project you can check that it's at your version of .NET by doing the properties, and you'll see the framework 4.8, and then check in the web config. You will see 4.8 in two places, but the thing for now we're interested in is this controller. This controller is essentially what exposes a bit of your project to the outside world. So we have HTTP verbs and we're using get and post. I don't know if these if HTTP verbs, I'm guessing you know what they are, but in terms of the API, typically a get is how we get data back. A post is how we send data from the app, for example, to the back end. And all we're doing is exposing these two things. You don't need to know much about the structure. You'll be cutting and pasting this structure and then inserting calls into your own code. So the get is essentially going to just return a list, and the post is going to accept some data. It's better shown with Postman. I did a full Postman tutorial on the first video. For now, I will just say to install Postman. Once you have Postman installed, this is going to allow us to just post to our temporary server, and you need to install it as a desktop application is best, I would recommend, because you kind of start to rely on this a little bit in future. So once you get your project, all you need to do is to run it, and this is going to use IIS and just a sort of temporary hosting of this little project, so it'll be like your project hosted on your server, except we in my example it's hosted at localhost and port 51754, which needs to be present now because that's essentially the URL starting point for communicating with this. So that's running in the background, and what I will do just to demonstrate this is I will put a breakpoint in the code and then go to Postman. So here we go. So the first thing is get. So this is the entry point here of get, where it returns a list of values. Let's run this first. And this is the root API test of values. This will be based on the endpoints we decide in your platform. For now, this is our root. If I hit send, we can see it stopped at our breakpoint, so that's great. We know that it's been received by the server. Let's continue and remove the breakpoint. So what have we got in response? The response down the bottom here, we have a 200, which is okay. So we wouldn't get that response from the server if the server didn't exist. And our list in the response is null. So the next thing we will try out is our post, and again, you'll see more when you look at the code yourself, but essentially this is the body of the post. This is the JSON that we're passing. So let's copy this. Okay, so the verb we now need to set in Postman, obviously this is done by the app normally, is a post, and to post data we need to set the data in the body of the request. And the other thing you need to do, make sure you're on raw, which is so we can set this data, is to check that this is to JSON. So that's just confirming the format. If I send, this is send it to the server now as if the mobile app has done it. We get a 1 in the response. Important thing again, 200 back from the server to say all is good. And the 1, this could be, we will have a proper, from your JSON coming back from the server, proper response saying it's correct or it was invalid because the password was too short or whatever it is. This has been added. I will now do a second example. So let's just assume that's been added. I am now typing one-handed. Oh, brilliant. apologies for this. I can't believe how much effort went down the drain with the video from Loom. But let's just stick with this for now. So I'll send a second one. We can see we've got a 1 back, so I'm going to assume that that worked fine. And in the interests of speed, I'm just going to do Rick like this. So let's try and insert third. Okay, so essentially we posted 3 different items. The detail isn't that important. It's just the principle at this stage that we've sent these 3 different items. Now, if we go back to doing a get, and this time we send this, hopefully this is the ta-da moment, fingers crossed. And there we have it. Now our get has returned all of the items in the list. I will send the code across, and this very bad video, this one's only 6 minutes long, and as opposed to the 20-minute one I did more professionally. But as a starting point, we'll do this. We can share the screen when it's convenient for you, Jonathan. Have a great weekend all, and I'll catch you later. Thanks.